Well, it's so nice to see you. I'm coming out here today because I want to change your life. And I really want to change your life. But I've got to figure out whether I'm assuming too much. Somebody changed my life years ago, and that's where this whole thing came from. I think if there's one purpose in my life besides raising my kids, it's this. All I want to do is help people see this thing that I didn't see the first 13 years of my life. The first 13 years of my life, I thought it was a worthless piece of crap. I grew up kind of poor. We had a hose coming in our house for water, and you brushed your teeth and filled up the toilet with the same hose. Now, believe me, I got it made. I had meals. I had parents who loved me. I had family members who loved me, and I'm so lucky to have that. But it was easy to be the target, the poor kid, the kid who has a hose coming in his house. So for me, it was really, really easy to tie that to bullying and think I was nothing. I mean, I really thought I was nothing as a little kid, and I met this coach at Largo High School in Largo, Florida, where I grew up. His name was Brent Haley, and the guy changed my life because he taught me this. And what this is he goes, you could be something because you already are something. Figure he was lying to me. Most adults had lied to me my whole life. Most people treated me awful. I figure he couldn't be telling me the truth. But he didn't lie. And over the course of the next 4 years, I was this kid who was bullied around and never good at any sports, never good at anything, didn't really feel like I fit in at all. And this guy taught me to be a runner. Now, I know it's not glamorous. It's not really even very technical. What do? You go straight, you take a left. It's that kind of a thing. But it was amazing because I went from being this kid who didn't think he was anything to being this kid who could actually do something and actually succeed and be on teams that had some success. And I wound up being the poor kid who had college paid for and then grad school paid for, where I got a master's in counseling psychology to start thinking more about this. But maybe none of that is relevant to you. So let me ask you a question, just in case. I'm not going to ask you to rat yourself out. No reason for you to share something with me. You barely know me. But let me ask you, if you wouldn't mind raising your hand, if you're pretty aware that people all over the world tend to lean toward the negative in the things they think. Would you raise your hand if you were aware of that? Okay, there's a ton of hands. That's great. Now let me ask you not to raise your hands this time and think, is that you? Do you feel like there's a spin of doubt, fear, worry, concern, the things that hold you back, that keep you from asking somebody out in a romantic relationship, that keeps you from going for the jobs you want, keeps you from trying to do anything that might put you out there outside of the safety of this vanilla ice cream existence where you're safe, and taking this risk that might make you sit in front of everyone and be embarrassed or fail? Can you raise your hand if you're aware that people feel those things? I think it's an instinct. I honestly think it's an instinct built into us. Our brains go on all the time, and I'm pretty sure it's because we used to be cavemen and we've got this survival thing inside of us. And this survival thing is so awesome because it makes us afraid of everything. It makes us afraid of loud noises. It makes us afraid of not being accepted into groups. And it makes sense. Imagine right now we're in Detroit, Michigan. Imagine in the winter without the building and the lights and the sound and the clothing, and we're surviving, and we somehow have to make it out there and make a fire and make things work. And it's so hard. It's freezing cold. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And imagine you're in a caveman tribe trying to make it work, and all of a sudden, for some reason, you do something that pisses everybody else off, and you don't fit in anymore. What could happen to you? And I'm pretty convinced what could happen to you is they might be so upset with you that all of a sudden, you get less and less. Maybe you don't get a meal. Maybe you don't get this. Maybe you get kicked out of the tribe, or maybe they kill you. I think it's an animal existence, and I think that part of us is built in it. So I think it's really, really good. If there's a really loud noise in the back there, it would be great if you looked around real quick to see what it was. If there was fire somewhere, you'd probably run away, and that's really, really good. So our brains are on all the time. But let me give you an example just to prove this just for a second. You can't turn your brain off. You can't turn your brain off. You can't turn your brain off. So if we have this tendency toward the negative, toward self-preservation and everything else, which I totally believe we have, your brain nonstop is constantly feeding you thoughts all the time. Thoughts that are negative. So let me use an example. Right now, I'd like you just to try to make your mind still. Don't think of a thing. Don't think of a word. Don't think of the word black or blank or clear slate or white or whatever it is. Don't say to yourself, don't think, don't think, don't think. I want you to just no thoughts at all. Try to have no thoughts just for a moment. 30 seconds, no thoughts, ready, go. And would you mind, if you happen to have a thought, raise your hand if something popped up? This is what happens. I could do this for the rest of this talk, and it would be the same thing. It's the same for every group I've ever worked with because our brains are always going all the time. But here's the thing. If we have this tendency toward the negative, and our brains are going all the time, then how can you have a great life with those thoughts? Look at the world right now. Look at all the fighting, the infighting, the us versus them. Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. And this happens in every single aspect of life. I want you to know tonight that you can change your life. You really can, in the same way that Brent Haley changed my life all those years ago. Because he told me, Chris, if you think you are or you think you aren't, you're probably right. If you think you're going to do well or you think you're not going to do well, you're probably right. It's always your thoughts. When I coach athletes, every single level, from 8-year-old kids in house leagues in hockey, all the way up to almost 30-year-old men in the NHL, I can tell you they're all the same. They're the same in Europe. They're the same in Canada. They're the same in the United States. They're all the same in that every time they want something bad, they fear failing. Every time they want something bad, they're afraid that somebody's going to say, oh, you're not enough, you're not good enough, or you're a fraud. People are worried about this stuff all the time, and it holds it back. It holds everybody back from what they really want. And I don't want you to be held back because I remember what it's like to be 13 years old and thinking I'm nothing. And I was just so sick of it I could puke in my mouth. And this guy saved my life because he taught me, it's always your thoughts, it's always your thoughts. Let me tell you a story about Dakota Joshua. He's in the NHL, he's from Detroit, fantastic guy. He's 7 foot a million, big giant guy. He's not, he's 6'4", but he's like 200 something pounds. He's amazing, he's power forward, incredible guy. He's had a ton of games in the NHL. This guy's kind enough and nice enough with his time to come down to Detroit to work with one of my teams. A team of 13-year-olds, interestingly enough. And there's a kid in there, and the kid's really, really tall, and the kid's really, really good, and he's the captain of the team. And he raises his hand, he says, Dakota, sometimes I feel like a worthless piece of crap. He used another word, but I'm trying to keep it clean. I feel like a worthless piece of crap. A kid who's so successful says, sometimes I feel like a worthless piece of crap. What do you think Dakota said? Do you think Dakota said, oh, just work better, son, work harder, great things will happen? He could have said that. People say that kind of crap. But he said the real thing. The real thing. 6'4", 200 something pounds, NHL guy. A guy known to only fight to protect his teammates. A guy with a heart. He said, me too. This 13-year-old kid who thinks he's all alone in this world, thinks he's all alone in the negative, thinks he's all alone, thinking he's a piece of crap. He's validated now because Dakota Joshua says, God, me too. He's got to work past it. He's got to get better thoughts. You got to work through your stuff. You got to puke out how bad you feel and get past the doubt and fear and make a choice, make a choice, make a choice, make a choice. And that's part of the answer here. Because making a choice to do something gets you out of that spin. Making a choice to do something gets you from being trapped in this thing. And honestly, kids tell me this all the time. I had 4 suicide kids in the last 2 years. 4 guys who contacted me. I'm talking age 13 all the way up to guys who are 20-something years old, 20 years old and juniors, calling me or texting me between 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock a.m. at night, telling me I can't take another moment because their heads are so full of this. I suck, I'm awful, I'm terrible, I'm a piece of crap, letting my coach down, letting my team down. This kind of stuff spins in everybody's head, and we sit quiet. It's almost like we think it's our real voice, but it's not. It's this instinct crap. Now, TED isn't really a fan of just opinion. They love new thoughts, they love ideas, but they really want to have something that's evidence-based. So let me go over on that side for a second. I've given you my opinion of this. In my opinion, based on the anecdotal evidence of working with hundreds of players. And I can tell you, it feels like the truth. Let me tell you that in cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the most successful therapies in psychology talks about your thoughts. It talks about dealing with negative thoughts. It talks about challenging negative thoughts to see if they're right because they're holding us back. And it's a really successful therapy. But there's something else too. You know, the theme of this whole talk is flow. The theme of this whole event here is flow. I love the idea of flow, the idea of somehow being so alive that you're not caught in that negative spin of crap in your head and you're so engaged in doing something you lose track of time. And one of the smartest guys I've ever known of, his name's Martin Seligman, the father of positive psychology, spent decades working on what's wrong with people. And he's just like, there's got to be more. And he's done research, so much research, you can look him up, on what works to make people happy. And he came up with a thing so impressive that the U.S. Army uses it to work in resiliency training with the military. He came up with something called PERMA. It's an acronym. The first one says we feel better when we have positive emotions. The next one's E. We feel better when we're so engaged in something that we lose track of time. Flow. R, relationships. We love relationships. We're social, we're connected. We have quality ones, we feel better. M, meaningful experiences. And the last one is achieving things, accomplishing things that matter to us. This is what makes a life, according to so much research that he's done with so many people. So when you put all this together, you get Chris Palmer, the mental performance coach for hockey players who felt like a piece of crap for the first 13 years of his life, and his life changed. Yeah, it's a great story, but does it matter? It matters. And it lines up with research that says our thoughts are everything. And if you can get to the point where you can manage the doubt, fear, worry, spin, and take a choice and make a choice to step out and make a choice, do something, take a risk, make mistakes. If you can do that, your life can change. And it's so scary. And that's why when you walk down the mall, walk in school, you see people just getting by. And I get it because life's so freaking hard. I remember, and I hate to tell you this, but at the peak of my success, whatever that was, after getting a master's degree and working for Nike for 4 years, making a shoe to try to get a sneaker job with Tinker Hatfield, the guy who makes the cool shoes, I didn't get the job. A number of things went bad. I felt empty. And I got caught in the negative spin. And on a drive home from Jacksonville, coming across the Howard Franklin Bridge in Tampa at 2 a.m. one night, I'd thought about this, but I couldn't take another moment, like those kids who call me. And I almost took myself out. And I hate saying this because it's such a stigma, right? Oh, God, what's going on? But I got to say it because I want to change your lives. I want to change your lives right now. This isn't just something I'm doing. I want to change your lives and let you realize that our head's full of crap all the time, and the only way out is to fight back. And somehow, God, the universe, whatever it is, with all respect to whatever you believe, a picture popped up in my head of my mom, my dad, my brother, and it's like, oh my God, what am I doing? And boom, thoughts, right? Thoughts. And I'm lucky, but in that moment, it changed my life again because it's easy to get caught in this thing. And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? So I stopped and I drove home. And I've never been back in that moment again because I put together what that great coach told me at 13 and what I learned in my master's degree and from coaching people and from what amazing psychologists have told us about how we are. Your only chance of having a life that feels like a life, and I want to share this with you now, is for you to realize your thoughts shape everything. And in the words of my coach, if you think you are, you think you aren't, you're probably right. So please, this single thought I want to give you is that no matter how bad it is, no matter how bad life is, you're in a divorce, your parents die, your girlfriend breaks up with you, your boyfriend breaks up with you, you lose a child, you don't know what to do, you didn't get in the college you want, you didn't make a team, you screwed up, you got an injury, whatever it is, whatever things just make you feel sick, you run out of money, you don't know where you're going to get your next meal, whatever it is, life is going to beat you over and over again. And the only answer I know, and the thing I want to share with you so bad, is that if you can get out of that spin for a moment and puke out how bad you feel and realize you've got this blank slate to do almost whatever you want. Right now, one of you guys could come up and punch me in the face, or you could go give your wallet to a homeless person. That's the range. Every freaking day, that's the range. And Dakota Joshua knew that because he could have sat there and act like he was all cool in that locker room. But instead, he told the truth to a kid and changed his life. The single thought is you get to choose. You get to choose, you get to choose, you get to choose. Till your last breath in hospice, you get to choose. And if you don't choose because you're afraid, you're just going along with this instinctive crap. And I don't want that for you. All I care about is raising my 4 kids and doing this. It's all I care about. My life was changed all those years ago, and I want to change yours now. Please, keep choosing. Keep choosing. Keep choosing. You deserve this. And thank you for everything.